What's going on, everybody? It's Tim with Piece.n.grease. It's a beautiful Tuesday afternoon here in Ohio. What makes it even better is we are surrounded by Chevy trucks. Sorry, I like all kinds of trucks. I've owned Dodge. I had a Dodge once with a 416 stroker. It was pretty hot. I've had some 70s Fords and stuff. It's just what we got now. Blake's off getting new tires for his rims, so we may get a test drive around here on that. The problem today is what we've been calling Wyatt's truck. I drive it. He don't have his license yet, but we're trying to get things ironed out. We were calling this the All-American truck. So it runs real good. It's got a small block Chevy, real solid, good oil pressure. Sounds good. The problem is it don't idle good. You can't make it idle where you want it to idle. And then every time you do get it to idle decent, it changes. So it's got original. Well, I don't know. I don't know if it's original. I don't know how original I'd call it, but it has a steel cast iron quadrajet style intake on it, and then I made a EGR block off plate, and then it also has a carb spacer on it, so there's a lot of room. I think it just has a massive vacuum leak. My friend Mike Voltall gave this to us anyway, and it was on this truck already in the other motor. But when I put this motor in, it seemed to run real good and everything, but I never had the motorhome running long enough just to move it around. But even with the quadrajet, I couldn't make it. You would bend the linkage and it would idle down, but it wouldn't. So anyways, we're just going to, it's got a Brawler carburetor on it, Brian Beatty gave me. And I know it runs good. I drive it around, it just spits and sputters and coughs. And this is going to be a basic small block Chevy garage aluminum intake install. Most of you's done this, but if you've never done this, hey, we'll try to make it as in-depth for you and as quick for you as possible. It's pretty simple. Everything's on top. You just want to try to be clean. This truck is clean because I just built it. But if you got a lot of leaves and mud and stuff, wash it off, get it cleaned up, or you're going to hate yourself. You're going to be fighting debris falling into your motor. So we are starting. I don't know what we'll shop vac it out and stuff. I'll show you how I do it. So first thing we're going to do is lower the radiator fluid. Get me a pan, drop that down. I'm only going down so far because you don't need to drain it all, but we'll drain enough to where it don't leak. We'll start getting stuff apart. Shouldn't take long, probably a couple hour job. Here we go. All right, here we are under the hood. First thing I did was disconnect the battery because I'm not going to move the alternator. Second thing I did was take the alternator bracket off. I did a few easy things. I said I was going to be in depth, but some of this removal stuff, it's not that hard. A lot of the thing that people have trouble with or maybe have issues with conquering is pulling the distributor out, taking the carburetor off, especially if your carburetor hasn't been off. Not all of them are nice and shiny like this one, but I got some of the stuff out. We're going to leave all this here. I got enough coolant out of it to shouldn't be a factor. Some may spill when we take the intake off, but we're going to try to lift that nice and straight up off there, break these seals, stick a screwdriver in the ends. You can see they got goop on there, and then try to pop it loose and get it out of your way. Then if you got any debris in there, it's nice to have a shop vac handy. And also, if you lose some coolant down there, have some towels handy or a shop rag handy. But the next step, I'm going to get a little bit taller stool. I'm going to show you how I do this for an intake swap, how I mark the distributor. And then this might be controversial how I'm about to do this. Maybe not. Maybe this is how everybody else does it. But this is how we're going to do it. We're just going to pull that baby. We're going to mark it. We're going to pull it out. We're going to put a new intake on it. We're going to drop it right back down in where it was. All right, let's do it. Just wanted to take a minute and show a little inventory of what we're working on. 68 GMC, Super Duty front axle, Divorce 205, 1-ton ripper. Then, it's a great day at work. 87 Chevy, putting a new aluminum intake on it. 4-speed, 373s, 33-inch boggers. And then, 77 Chevy, 4L60, 5.3. Out getting new tires, put on semi-rims right now. And then 87 GMC, 24-inch lift, 22-inch lift. We're not sure. And then 85 Chevy, stretched, aluminum flatbed, 12-inch lift. Looks tiny compared to this guy. Great day at work. All right, I'm back. I got my intake manifold cleaned up. We got to do a few things so we can pull this guy off. We got one more screw on our carburetor back here. One more nut. Went ahead and removed my spark plug wires and laid them back. Left them on the spark plug, but I just laid them back out of the way. Get the a little contraption here for my throttle. All right, I don't want to drop that down in the motor. Get that right there. We're going to reuse this carburetor. Set it over there out of the way. Just going to sit there and leave it the whole time. All right. Getting closer, getting closer. Let's pop this distributor cap loose. We don't want to move the base of the distributor. I want to try to leave that intact. All right. So, easiest way to do this without getting all technical, putting it top dead center, is what I found is I'm going to make a mark right here on my firewall. My vacuum canister's pointing in the typical direction they normally would point. So we gotta loosen that. You gotta loosen the clamp that holds down your distributor. And take this clamp that holds your distributor down and just reuse it. You don't need anything special for that. Nothing chrome. Nothing works better than your factory hold down. Well, that's unfortunate. Our gasket for our distributor is junk. So we got to find another one of those at bare minimum. I'm going to pull the rest of the bolts out of the intake manifold. Won't be long, we'll be ready to pull it off. Metal bolts are kind of hard to get to. Just use your wrench. All right, we got all 12 bolts out of the intake. We got the distributor loose. We got the carb off. This is a small block Chevy, so you do not have to remove the valve covers if you don't want. Just trying to find somewhere to pry on it. Now these are a little heavy, I'll be honest with you. All right, we're in. The old intake's off. So we got to clean the front rail and the rear rail. They just use silicone. That's what we're going to do. And the motor looks really, really clean. You can tell that that's been a machined block. So Goodrich 350. It runs really strong. Should run even better when we get this intake on it. We got a shop back here. We're just going to clean the debris. All right, here's what we're using. Edelbrock Performer, pretty basic intake. Looks like it's got the same provisions for throttle bracket. It's got the same place for your distributor hold down. Your water neck will fit it. Pretty much everything will fit it. It's, this one's got EGR block off, and then that's pretty much it. It's pretty easy to do. This is the most important part. So we ordered Felpro gaskets. When you order intake gaskets, this is really all you're ordering because they send you stuff like this. Actually, there is a new distributor gasket in there, so that's going to save us a trip. But those cork gaskets right there, those will do you nothing. Take a look about how thick they are. And then 9 out of 10 mechanics just use this stuff. So this is your rail down here. Ooh, doo, 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 doo. That's your rail. And back here's your rail. Doo, 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 doo. Some people call it the China rail. I don't know, maybe because it looks like the Great Wall of China. Maybe it has something to do with the casting. I have no idea. But what we are going to do is we're going to take this red and we're going to daub it on there like a welding bead. And we're going to leave it thick in the corners. And then I just like to take a few dabs of this where the intake gasket is, just to hold it in place. So let's go ahead and start doing that. We'll show you how I do it. All right, intake's out of our way. We got her fairly clean. We just want to make sure that we know these will fit. Boom. Well, see here, it's a good thing. It's a good thing I test fit, because although you don't need to take the valve covers off, these are going to hit the valve covers. So I'm going to need to take the valve covers loose at bare minimum. That's why I'm glad I checked before I went to do it, because my bolt holes aren't lining up. Let me grab a, let me see if I got the right stuff here, 7/16. Should just be able to loosen them. It gives a chance to retighten them anyway. Well, I guess life's just wanting us to take them off. So that's probably what we'll do. Just pull them off real quick. And just like I figured, that's going to lead to new gaskets. Perfect. I could tell they were corks why they didn't want to come off. Alright, we had to pop the valve covers off. That was unexpected because the top of the gasket was actually hitting the valve cover gasket. So now we have proper clearance. That stuff's out of our way. I'm not sure if that caused it to have a bad install the first time. I could push down on it. I don't know. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. We're going to throw the ultra red to it. Let's do the back first. I put on more than I should, especially on the back. I usually put way too much on the back because you can't see it. All right, I like to dab a little bit of this in places, just so we have a little adhesion, just a few spots. It's not really necessary. I like to let the gasket do the work. Just like put that on to hold it. We'll see if they say this side up or this side down. If they don't, we're putting the blue side up. Alright, now I'll take a little bit more and put in the corners. Alright, we're going to give that about 5 minutes and we're going to drop that intake. Alright, we are back. We're ready to drop this baby on there. Make sure you don't put it on backwards. I know it sounds crazy, but people have done it. The new one's way lighter, so it should be easy to just set it on there. I like to start my middle bolts, work my way out. Get all your bolts in before you tighten down any of them, because it never fails. You'll go back and you'll have one that won't go in. Alright, start on the inside, work your way out. Start in the middle, work your way out. Got one that's being a jerk. Make sure you get them all in. Alright, throttle bracket bolts onto the intake. Alright, the intake is back on, and we are ready to drop the distributor down in there. We got silicone everywhere. That's just normal. That's why people like to use black, so you don't see it so bad, but hey, whatever. I'm going to tighten the oil pressure sitting unit a little bit. Seemed like there might have been some oil back here. Could have been coming out the intake too. Yep, she's tight. Alright, we're going to drop this in just the way it came out. Got our new gasket on there. Boom, nothing to it. Right back where she came out. We're going to put our clamp and we're going to put it fairly tight. We're going to leave it just a little bit loose so we can time it. All right. Now we'll be able to time it. Let's throw the distributor cap back on it. All right, we're going back together. There's always some stuff you'll encounter along the way. I didn't expect to have to pull the valve covers off, but the gaskets were interfering. So, just had to jump in and do it. I'd be prepared for stuff like that, I guess. All right, let's put the spark plug wires back on. We're getting there. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're gonna run out of daylight. What's going on, everybody? It got dark on me last night. It's beautiful out today. Look at that sky. What is it? Wednesday. So we're working on the All-American Daily Driver, and got the new intake put on last night. Got some coolant in it. Maybe need to put some more coolant in it. Get an air filter for it. Everything seems to be good. Let's see how she starts today. So when I did pull this motor, I always put number one spark plug one plug away from the coil connections cap. And I noticed when I took this motor out that number one was right up against that. And I realized that when I put the motor in. Well, last night I forgot. I put it how I normally put it, and it was popping. Sounded like it was roasting marshmallows through the exhaust. So I remembered, and I jumped up there, and I just moved the spark plugs back around one way, one position over, and it fired right up. They don't really know where they're at on the cap. The cap's just producing spark 8 times. So you can put them anywhere you want, but usually they're just right there on that one over. That's what most people do. And then line it up with number one cylinder and all that good stuff. Make sure we're in neutral. See if she'll start with no gas. Ain't started it yet today. I forgot to tighten the belt. Alternator belt, serpentine belt squeaking. But it's running good. I get that belt tightened up here in a minute. Never quite got the interior finished. It's kind of, I had to do some rewiring in here and put a column in it. And there's some stuff missing. The headlights do not work. Okay, so the taillights work, the turn signals work. But so far, the All-American headlights have not worked. I don't know if they're all four just blown out. I think I've checked power there. I know I got power to the switch because I have taillights. And I have front marker lights. So I went ahead and bought some stuff. I went ahead and bought a new windshield wipers don't work either. Headlight switch. Yeah, the All-American. No headlights, no windshield wipers. We're getting there. We're getting there. This was like, there's parts missing off of that. We'll fix that next. So I went ahead and bought a set of headlights. And I was in turmoil because I don't like aftermarket headlights much. They're usually junk. But I went ahead and got me some True Mods 4x6 LED sealed beam. There's 4 of them in there. I imagine there's a high and a low, but they're not marked, so we'll have to figure that out. So, see, I got lights are on right now because I took the knob out of the headlight switch. So we got lights on now. We just don't have no headlights. So I'm going to grab a test light, and then we're going to go ahead and change that switch out, figure out what's going on. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. Okay, I was able to take the vent out of the dash, and then I took the collar out, which goes right here. You unscrew this, and your switch will come out, down and out. I just pulled mine out this vent that's not here, and here we are. Got the new switch and the old switch. It's probably original. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. I just tested up at the headlights to see if we had any power before I changed it, just to see if anything changes. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the new one, put it back in, and then put this guy back in. There's a little groove on the end. There's a switch right here. So you have to push that switch while pulling out on this. And I had to really pull on mine. I had to finagle it out of there before I could take the collar off. So save those. 1, 2, 3. And it just plugs in. We're going to reinstall it. All right, we still don't have headlights, and I've narrowed it down. So your yellow coming out of your switch here is your headlights. Everything in here does something different, courtesy dash, but the yellow here is the headlights, and it leads to this plug. Now this truck has a dimmer on the dash, or on the column, my bad, instead of the floor, and this is what feeds it. That yellow has power, and then green and brown is your high and low beams. This switch here seems to be not working. It's not doing anything no matter how many times I hit that. So lucky for me, I got some parts. Now this column here has already been stripped of some stuff, but it has not been stripped of that, and it looks to be in good shape. Two different sizes there. So we got some of these parts are standard, some of them are metric. So we got a 7 and we got a 10 and a 8. I'm gonna take this guy off and we'll be right back. Okay, I dropped the column down so I could get to it. The bolts are on top up in here. It's on the side right here. It should just pop right off there now. Oh, we don't want that push rod to come out. Let me drop the phone. All right, little square body church here today. So headlight switch was not bad. Throw that in the glove box. Your dimmer switch is on the column. So 215 millimeter, this is 87, 80, 81 and up. 215 millimeters right there. Drop the column down after the trim piece is removed. Mine wasn't on. And then I found this guy. So I changed it. This seemed to be froze up, not clicking. And then now, so I only had power on the yellow wire before, no power leaving. So now I have power on the brown. Now I have power to the green. That's more power than I've ever had. So let's leave those cooking for a minute. Let's go outside and see what we got out here. They've never worked. I don't know. This truck's never had headlights since it's been here. Oh, she's working. That headlight works, folks. So that's good news. So we're going to go ahead and throw these chiluniums in here. We'll be right back. All right, we're down to it. One of the last things we're going to do is put new headlights in. I already did the other side, and it's kind of a pain. So I'm glad I already did one side so I don't look stupid on camera. Then we'll get done with this. We're going to tighten the alternator belt, go for a spin. Dimmer, bad dimmer switch. So that column came out of my blue truck. As far as I know, dimmer switch worked. So it's, you know, it just went something that just went bad. Corrosion. Sitting around. That's why it's nice to keep stuff. Spare steering columns have saved me more than 2 or 3 times this summer. Fixed Blake's truck with a spare steering column. That saved one, baby. I just got a steering wheel off of it. Alright, pretty basic stuff here if you've never been into one or if you're young. This particular truck has 4 headlight system. So there are high beams and low beams. Alright, and this truck only has 3-prong plug on top, 2-prong plug on bottom. There's no way to get it wrong, except they did get it wrong. So I ordered 4 headlights. I didn't get a high and a low. I just got 4 headlights. So I'm putting it together that way. Really the only thing that I could do would be to wire in the bottom headlights to come on with the top headlights. So they all 4 come on. That's what a lot of people like to do. So you got that option if you're handy. I'm going to keep these old headlights because I don't get rid of nothing except Ford parts. Alright, battery cable right there in the way. They don't fit that good. I'm going to be honest with you. That's why I don't like to buy this stuff. They're bigger, physically bigger. So the corners are just a little bigger. They're just tight in all the wrong places, but they'll go in. I found on the other side that if I loosen the 4 bolts on the bottom a little bit, gives me a little extra bite on top. Don't let stuff like this stop you from driving. One bad headlight could cost you. If you're out, go to dinner with your friends, have a few beers on the way home, you only got one headlight, you're running them high beams because one of your low beams is out. Don't do that. I know a guy that done that. He got DUI. He was a drunk though. And Mike Lutz, he got DUI because he had a headlight out. I think there's a rock and roll song about that. We could drive it home with one headlight. So basically when you hit the brights on this, you're just going to have the same output on the bottom, which is why I said that I could hook them all up. To be honest, you really don't have a lot of chances to run brights around here because there's so many people. I don't drive at night much, but don't want to be caught out and it gets dark at 5:30. You don't want to be caught out with no headlights. I did that once in my Army truck. I was over at Doug Mail's getting parts for the build-off. I kept telling him I didn't have no headlights, and he kept talking and kept talking. I left down there, and it was pretty dark, man. People were flashing their lights at me. Works better if you take the whole bracket loose. Oh, man, that's bitter. Brittle. Brittle and bitter. Oh, fell apart in my hands. Man. That connector is gone. Some people weren't happy there. Trying to turn over a new leaf. Get all these little things working. We're going to put a cigarette 12-volt modern charger in it. Get the license plates lights working. Pretty much get everything working. Good thing about Chevys is you can adjust your headlight direction with the bezels on. So anyone can do it. You just got to take the bezels off to change your headlights. These are usually little torque screws, but since we had to put a whole new grill in there several episodes back, we ended up with buying trim screws at Restoration World and just making it work. All right, that's it. We'll get some tape on that connector, and once it gets dark, we'll aim them, but we got 4 new working headlights now. What's going on here?
Turkey building.
Turkey, bro? Does it look like a turkey?
Does it?
Yeah. 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 That's a straight up turkey, bro.
Hey. Black Friday sale. Got a double turkey.
No.
Oh man.
Get ready for the season with Art Captain's Black Friday sale.
November 14th through December 1st, save up to 50% off of all products site-wide. Spend and save discounts up to $150. Every order placed will be entered to win prizes ranging from welders to accessories like helmets, gloves, wires, and more. Starting November 14th, stock up on all of your consumables, gloves, helmets, accessories, and all of the high-quality welding equipment and tools that you may need. So don't be a turkey and miss out on all these great deals from Art Captain starting November 14th through December 1st. You don't want to miss this Black Friday sale.